Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Talkin Kop. We're here for a full-time match reaction after in East Germany it finishes RB Leipzig 0, Liverpool Football Club 1, 3 out of 3 in the Champions League. We're a little late getting here to get started, but when we're late, we usually bring good, fun surprises, and that fun surprise is Gav joining us. Chris is unavailable to be with us tonight, so Gav has stepped in. We don't do this very often, Gav. You don't come on a lot of full-time match reactions.
No. You were talking to me about the software we use for this show, and I was looking at you like you had 10 heads, because I use it like never. It's one of the best softwares to use because it's simple, it's quick, but it's one I'm never on because I use the other stuff for my shows when I'm hosting. So yeah, woo, StreamYard.
Yeah, it works. It works real good. And Kev, you're back again. You and Gav. This is what, 3 shows in about 25 hours.
Yeah, he's driving me mad. He is. All this is to keep me off FIFA. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I get the strangest feeling it's not working all that well.
No, not really. No.
Yeah, and actually, just us doing the regular thing, just coming on after shows, not doing preview shows and 30s at all crazy hours in the day. But another good game, another good result for the Reds, and joy for us to get to talk about it.
Definitely, the Reds go marching on.
I saw some nice stats that were put in there. I think I saved some of them just to get us
sure.
started with. Spencer Stewart sharing that Slot becomes the first manager since Bill Shankly to win his first 3 European games. And it's the first time in Liverpool's history that they have won 11 of their 12 opening games of the season. And they become the first Liverpool team to win each of their opening 6 away fixtures of a season. Ashley, those are the stats that you live for, aren't they? Those are great.
They're the kind of stats that you don't realize they're happening until years and years down away from now. We'll look back on this and be like, wow, that was a really amazing start.
Yeah, I mean, Gav, you and Kev doing the preview show last night, going through lineups and whatnot like that. Not a lot of change from Arne Slot. I felt that Curtis Jones could feel a little bit aggrieved to not get a start after his performance against Chelsea, but Arne Slot sure seems to have a preferred 11.
Yeah. Me and Kev were doing the preview last night, and we were looking at the team, and I think both of us might have had Gomez in the side, and I think one of us might have had Tsimikas. And in midfield, we weren't too sure. And up front, we were picking Diaz, Núñez, Salah.
Yeah.
I think both of us did go for that. But listen, I think when I seen the lineup, I was like, lads, could we not just leave a few out here? Could we not give McAllister a half an hour at the end? Could we not do something to give Gravenberch a rest? Trent is meant to be carrying something. Can we not do something there? But in fairness, we'll get on to it later. I think as the game goes on, you see his management. He reverses the management of the game, really. He gives people a rest where he can, and he manages some 60 onwards. But listen, that's just me and Kev, doing a preview on what we think might happen. But he knows them better than us. He's got the result. He's out of there with no injuries. He's got a few players off the pitch to give them a little bit of a break. And we've 3 from 3. We're comfortable in this Champions League, and we're in good shape going into, we've 4 days now until we go into Arsenal. So, listen, it wasn't the team I was expecting, but he's still got to win. He's used plenty of a squad, and they're ready for Arsenal. They're ready for Sunday because I fucking so badly want to beat these on Sunday.
Yes, the ramp up to that can get started. I noticed in the telegrams and the WhatsApp chats that there was already before this match a lot of talk about Sunday, and it's like, hey, we kind of got a game that we got to deal with today. And Kev, we dealt with it quite well. And I mean, I'll hold my hand up and say that I was incorrect on this. But before the match, when the lineups dropped, I took a look at that attacking 3 from RB Leipzig and was like, oof, like that's a dangerous looking front 3 of Benjamin Sesko, Xavi Simons, and Luis Openda. Held him at arm's length.
They had the ball in the net twice, and for half the body width offside on both occasions, we could be having a very different conversation. It's easy to see why he picked the starting 11 he did when you look at the highlights from the first 20 minutes of the game. We were really under the cosh for a large chunk of that first half, and it was really hairy at times. It was way too open. It was way too end-to-end. But you have to expect that away from home against a side who are joint top in the Bundesliga, who are desperate for a result, especially with the European qualification system as it is now. They're at a situation where they have to get a result. And tonight, that result puts us in a great position. But I think the result could paper over a lot of cracks that showed up in that 90 minutes, because there was for all of the good parts of it, there were some parts that were really, really exposed, and it wasn't all twinkles and fairy dust on that performance. Far from it. There was a lot wrong with that.
Jeez, negative Kev comes right out of the blocks here. What's
Hates
wrong with
Liverpool.
Kev? You had him up too early. You had him up too early.
He's like
today, Kev.
fucking Ronnie Whelan, he is.
Barcelona won 4-1 according to Brian. I was supporting Barcelona.
Yeah, that's the only thing Kev's happy about tonight. Rafinha, the Rafinha Ultras.
Rafinha hat-trick.
I think he scored early too, first minute or something like that. Ashley, some other fun bits from the lineup. Mo Salah becomes third most European Cup appearances for Liverpool, and there was a little bit of chat in the preceding couple of days of, the Mo hierarchy on the Premier League status level and approaching Thierry Henry levels. And little numbers like this obviously drive Mo Salah, but it's great to see, and a testament to the greatness of Mo Salah for Liverpool, in this case, specifically on a European stage, that he's up to whatever it is, 68, 69 European appearances.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that Slot pulled him at the end of the game to protect him for Arsenal, because I think he's going to be a big player for us in that game. But yeah, I mean, you could tell the difference when he's not on the pitch. We definitely, he's our cutting edge, and he makes a lot of things happen. And I don't know if that goal was going in today. I think it was going to go in the corner. Whether or not it was going to be actually in the back of the net, I mean, it would have been another one to add to his tally, but I'm sure he has no issues handing that over to Darwin to gain a little bit of confidence.
And it's an assist. It's an assist, so it helps.
Exactly. So it's another number. It all goes toward the tally at the end of the day. But he played well.
Yeah, he does love his numbers. Hopefully that number includes a 2-year contract extension as well too. Kev taking a slightly different opinion on the game. Graham Doyle here is wondering what game he was watching, that he was miles off. He might have been watching Barcelona against I mean, he could have been watching himself play seasons as well too. But one thing that I picked up, because I think it's pretty inarguable to say that Leipzig's best spell of the game was probably the first 20 or so minutes of the game. And one of the things that I saw and noted down in there is the unbelievable levels of extremes that Trent Alexander-Arnold's game hit in the first half. He had some absolutely sumptuous play, and then some just boneheaded passes and turnovers and things like that. But I feel like, despite of that, his defending has been so much better this season. And I think in this game, there was a couple of times, in the 4th minute, he plays a terrible pass into the middle. He immediately goes and gets the ball back. 2 minutes later, he gives the ball away. He immediately goes and gets the ball back.
Yeah.
There's major buy-in, I feel, from all the players in terms of the defensive roles that are required that is new.
First of all, Mo Salah should absolutely be in the conversation with regards to Thierry Henry and everyone else. As a wild player in the Premier League, his stats are off the wall. I've seen someone saying, but Giggs played for about 25 years in the Premier League. You know what I mean? Will you give over? Just want to put that out there if anyone wants to argue with me over Salah. I'm going to defend Kev a bit here, because I thought it was a good performance. I think I told you, Kev, a positive result and no injuries, and give me anything. I don't care what it is. If it went in off Nunez's arse today, I'd be absolutely fine with it. Do you know that sort of way? On Trent, there's a few of them like that for me. Even later in the game, Van Dijk trying to hit balls into the centre of the pitch when we're 1-0 up with 5 minutes to go. Instead of just turning and playing it back to Kelleher, everyone spread out and we get it. And there's loads of buy-in. There's absolutely loads of buy-in. But I actually think this team, there's sloppiness there. There's absolutely sloppiness there. And I actually think it's come from, there's a buy-in to what we're trying to do. But then I do see hints of the Jurgen Klopp way coming back into them. And that's not a bad thing, because the way we played was brilliant. But I think if you mix Jurgen Klopp's way and Arne Slot's way, I think it can malfunction massively in what we're trying to do. And we try go too quick, and we're not doing that anymore. Keep it, play it, pass it, move. You see in the last couple of minutes of the game, they were chasing shadows. We were just popping it around them as if to go, you're not getting another chance in this game. But it's great to see the likes of Trent with that boy in. Yeah, he's a brilliant passer of football. He's just a brilliant footballer. And sometimes someone will intercept the ball. Sometimes he'll go to hit something and it's the wrong option. But he's going and winning it back. In the past, you'll see in this team, even this season, or in Klopp sides or wherever it might be, they lose a ball and there's panic and it's standoff and it's teams are through. They're working so hard for each other. And you have to remember, and I keep saying it, we're 13 games into this man's reign as Liverpool manager. 13 games. Like if you let's put it into context, we've seen teams going to World Cups and they have to play 7 games to win it. And you think to yourself, 5 games in, they're only kind of getting going here. This is a team that's 13 games into what they're trying to do. It's phenomenal what they're doing. It really is. And people will say it's a ready-made side, all these players. That's true. That's true. But they're being asked to do completely different things now for me. Completely different things. Different ways of attacking, different ways of defending, slightly different in the press. High line most of the time, in fairness. That's one thing that's going to stay it. But first 20 minutes, what do you expect? Leipzig want to come out. They want to try to get at you. They have got players that can hurt you to an extent. And I think after 20 minutes, they have 3 shots, maybe 2 on target.
Yeah.
And were the out and out chances? No. When Liverpool give you a shot on goal, the chances are it's a difficult one. And I'm all right with it. We have to take everything in context, but I'm with Kev a little bit. I think there was parts of that game where you're kind of scratching your head going, what are you doing here? Just keep the fucking ball. And he didn't.
Yeah, I'm going to come to you, Kev, to talk about the defending because you take a somewhat contrary position, and that's fun. But Gab mentioned that people are doing really good things, and that brings me on to bringing up Prakar Singh here, doing a very good thing, giving us 500. What I'm told in the chat are Indian rupees for the charity. So Big Daddy YouTube takes their cut. Gav will then go and put that into our 2 charities, which is of course fan supporting food banks, the Lighthouse Cafe in Dublin. 2 wonderful charities doing wonderful things, very much like Prakar, who is getting the flowers that he deserves in the comment section for making that donation for us. So thank you very much for that. Kev, one thing I feel needs to be pointed out. I thought that Ibrahima Konate, in the first 13 minutes, he had a 1v1 against both Sesko and Openda, and he was too strong and too fast for both of them. Yeah. And then in the 18th minute, he goes and does almost the exact same thing that he did against West Ham, where he should just be dealing with the ball, putting it out. Wolves. Instead, he lets it bounce over his head. Kelleher doesn't get quite enough on it. And if that moment doesn't make your heart go into your throat, I don't know what will.
Yeah, it was, you go back to the very start of the game. Costas lunges out for a ball that he was never getting to. And I put in the group chat, he needs to shake this off quick. And he did. For the rest of the game, Costas was very good.
He was. Defensively,
he was solid. Trent, very, very good. Ibu, going back to his old club, always a big thing for any player. I thought he was brilliant. They're a handful, especially Sesko. Ben Sesko is a proper player. And they caused all kinds of problems for the first 20 minutes. But a lot of it was brought on by our own poor play when we were coming out. I thought they played a 2-man midfield, and at times you're looking at it, how are we being outnumbered in the middle of the park? We were playing with a 3, but it was just the way they were forcing us to play our passes, and we were rushing our passes into the final third in the first 20 minutes. And that was my biggest problem with it. Some of the passing into the final third was poor. And the hold-up play, when it did get up to him, wasn't up to par either. But once it settled down, once we got over that first 20, 25 minutes, and they scored the offside goal, it was almost like a light switch moment. And for the rest of the half, we were completely dominant. We were on top of everything. Defensively, we decided to push up a bit further. The midfield got control, and we forced them back. And from then on, up until half-time, we were completely, totally dominant. And the 1-0 was not a fair reflection on that second half of the first half. It should have been more, So when I say that I wasn't happy with certain aspects of it, it was the first 20 minutes of the first half and probably the last 15 minutes of the second half. The rest of it I'm fine with.
But is that not what to be? Is that not what to be expected? Like you go
course it
away in Europe, they're a Bundesliga side, whether you like them or not, or you rate them or not, they're
Oh, I do rate
they're
them. That's the
probably
thing.
top of the. Are they top of the Bundesliga?
They're
They might-
joint. They're joint top.
Yeah,
They're only
okay.
behind Bayern on
Bayern.
goal difference.
So when you go away to these games, you usually go, don't like how many times have we said it? Don't go batting away in the first 15. Keep
Yeah.
it tight the first 15, 20. And then the last 10, 15, they're going to make changes and come at you. That's what's to be expected, isn't it? No?
But I think we can manage those situations better by just doing simple things.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's all it is. It's little tweaks to manage for someone to see the areas of midfield, where's the space, and then play into that space. And we saw it, and the space was Gakpo out on the left. And once Gakpo got Gertrude booked, he owned him for the rest of that day until they took him off.
Kev, can you read my mind? Because that is exactly what I was going to pick up and throw towards Ashley. The 22nd minute, Gertrude takes a yellow card, taking down Gakpo. And from that point on until Gertrude went off, it was get the ball to Cody Gakpo and let him go against Gertrude. The other thing Kev mentioned as well, too, was the offside goal, which became a bit of a theme. And Kev, you mentioned it. I wrote it down, the exact quote in my notes, because it made me scratch my head. In the 91st minute, they're in. 2 men are onside. It's a poor cross. They don't put the ball in the back of the net this time. It's offside again. And my commentator said, that's happened too often. What are you talking about? I'm fine if we catch them offside every single time. Like catching a team off, it is the plan. We saw it on the weekend where Konate just didn't get that hokey pokey foot back up in time, and it played Nicholas Jackson onside for it. But Ashley, Kev mentioned Tsimikas. I didn't want to mention that first chance they had. I think it was in the first minute or so where he was doing Tsimikas things, because I agree with Kev. For the rest of the game, I thought he was extremely good for Costa Tsimikas. Let me caveat that. And he's there putting in the secondary assist, the hockey assist for what ends up being the game-winning goal through Cody Gakpo, attacking down that left-hand side again. That's a big goal for Darwin Núñez. It feels like if anybody needed a goal given to them, this is what Gab was asking for last season.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter how they go in. It doesn't matter if they were going to go in before you touch the ball. I think it was Slot that actually came out and said in his pre-match that what he wanted from Darwin was exactly the same as in the Chelsea game, with the pressure and all of the off the ball stuff. And then he wanted him to score. And that's exactly what he did today. By all accounts, Darwin Núñez has been learning really well. Everything that I've heard about him at the training ground is he's eager to learn. He's eager to pick up what he's doing wrong. He wants to play. And I think these last 2 games have been promising. I mean, I don't want to say they're indicative of what's to come. I don't know. It's not a big enough sample size, but I've been impressed with him in the last couple of games. I think that there were a few moments today where I was worried about him keeping his temper. We'll get to the penalty.
Darwin Núñez keeping his temper.
Yeah, I mean, that's normal. I think they kind of go hand in hand. But, I think that's the one thing where he just treads a very fine line between, red card, not red card. Thankfully not today. But yeah, I he played a big role in that game in the first half, especially.
Yeah, and he showed his pace on a couple of situations as well, too, where he was chasing down lost causes that, everybody presumes the ball is just going to run out of play for a harmless goal kick, and Darwin Núñez is there to keep the ball in. Gav, we got to do it. We got to talk about the referees. I wrote down when I saw the first replay before they spoke about it in real time, that's a pen 100% of the time on Darwin Núñez. He chases the ball down, he keeps it in, and Willie Victor Orban he takes him down.
Yeah, it's a penalty. It's as simple as that. And I'm not against Darwin being that bit mental. I think, funny enough, like when you see players like that where they're kind of effing and blinding and their thing, you're kind of thinking, he's low in confidence, he's frustrated. But when I see that from Darwin Núñez, I feel like he's on it. He's a bit different. When you see him fired up like that, he's on it. He's on his game. And I thought he was good again tonight. I thought he worked so hard. He creates a great chance as well for Gakpo. Kind of out of nothing where he chases one. But yeah, look, it's a penalty kick. He bursts into the box. The guy comes across. I don't think he expects Darwin Núñez to get there that quick. He pushes it past the defender. The defender clips him on the ankle. He fells him in the box. Doesn't matter where the ball goes. Doesn't matter. He goes past him. He clips him. He goes down to penalty. Referee doesn't give it. And I just went on to me Scores app to check what they were saying on that about it. And the comment on there was the referee has turned this down, but has sent it to VAR just to be confirmed, and it's come back very, very quickly that it's not a penalty. It's a penalty. You cannot reach out or put your foot out towards somebody like that in the box when they're at that pace and they've gone past you. I think what happens with the centre back is, I think the centre back actually thinks I can get there, and halfway through putting his foot out realizes I'm not getting there. I'm simply not getting there, and he clips him. And I think even the defender knows. To be honest with you, I think the defender knows. And Darwin Núñez goes down fully expecting to turn around and the ball's on the penalty spot, or the referee is pointing towards the penalty spot, and he looks up as if to go, what is going on here? Yeah, it's an absolute penalty. There's no doubt about it. And then he books McAllister in about 10, 11, 12 minutes into the game as well, where he gets in a tangle in midfield, goes down, and he gives a booking to McAllister, and you're like, what is going on here? But listen, we should have expected it. That was, I think it might have been 10 or 12 minutes into the game. You kind of know then this fella's not at it, and he should absolutely give a penalty. And if not, they should have put him to the screen and went, listen, there's contact. You need to make the decision here. And they don't.
Yeah, it's such an unfortunate change, because I don't know if it was the first or the second Champions League game where we had that Norwegian guy that reffed us that I thought just did such a wonderful job. This Swiss guy really let us down on that. Thoughts on the goal, Gav?
Your striker puts it in the goal. If Darwin Núñez leaves that thinking it's going in, and the right fullback standing behind him and clears her off the line, we're going, what is Darwin Núñez doing? He doesn't, honestly, that's the truth. Yeah. And I promise you, if Darwin Núñez heads that down, Mo Salah is absolutely sticking the ball in the goal.
Oh, yeah, no question.
100%. Any striker, attacker, actually, you know what? Any footballer should be going, that is going, I'm kicking that in the goal. Because I'm not sure it's going in. Right. I think it might be hitting the post. But Darwin Núñez, like, you take all doubt out of it. It's dropping there. It's right there. I'm not offside. Bang. We kick it in the goal. We'll discuss it later. I'm sure Mo Salah's absolutely fine. I don't care if Mo Salah's all right with it. The ball drops. Air striker puts it in the net. If it was the other way around, it would absolutely be Salah doing it. And as well as that, Darwin Núñez could leave that, and there could be a defender on their way back just manages to get a toe to that or boots it off over the bar or whatever. So, yeah, good goal. Good to see him scoring. Bit of confidence and lash him up against the 11 centre-halves Arsenal will play on Sunday and see how he gets on.
You didn't see. Arteta says they're going to be flying coming into the game.
I've seen Arteta getting all emotional of a Wednesday.
And 4 centre-halves.
Yeah, I've seen him getting all emotional of a Wednesday. Quoted as saying, we'll be flying on Sunday. Don't you worry about it. We'll be flying for Liverpool. Good. Because honestly, I cannot remember a game. I can't remember like a game I want to win more in a long time. And I like Arsenal. Everyone knows I like Arsenal as a football club. But see him, I fucking despise him. So I want to win that on Sunday. But Darwin scoring tonight, really good. I think as a knock on to his performance against Chelsea on Sunday, to see him working really hard again tonight and getting on the score sheet, it's a good step. We don't know what way he'll go because he's mad, but it's a nice step. It's a nice progression.
Yeah. Karen B says, if Núñez was offside, we'd have went mad. Kev, I will say that terrible thought went through my mind for just a moment, because he was so far behind the line that you always worry. But it's his speed. It's the same thing that should have got him the penalty. It's the same thing he showed tonight. The defensive work that he's putting in for it. Give me your thoughts on the goal, Kev, and the rest of the play in the first half. Give some words to local Cork boy as well, Caoimhin Kelleher.
Kelleher was outstanding for the whole game. He virtually, bar his dodgy heading ability, he had a near perfect game. But that goal, Darwin has to put that in. The only time I've ever seen someone not do it was Firmino.
Firmino away at Stoke.
Yeah, and he knew there was nobody anywhere near him, and he just stood back and let it go. Mm-hmm. I've never seen anyone else do it. If Darwin doesn't put that in, whether it would have gone in or not, I'd be fuming, because that's your job. You know, you put the ball in the back of the work rate and the running back and the harassing and the chasing and the tackling and everything else is a bonus. You're there to put the ball in the back of the net, first and foremost. And he deserved it. He absolutely deserved it for the performance he put in. The work rate, everything. I mean, as the half went on, we had block shots. Virgil had a good header from a corner. Darwin had another header that Gulashi made a really good save from. There were, in fairness, it could have really gone in 2-0. And with some of the chances. The Virgil header, I thought Costa's delivery from set pieces was really good in the first half. Every corner, it seems like there was a possibility of something going on. Even when they were getting it clear, we were cleaning up and pushing them back in again. So it wasn't like, when we were defending a corner, we usually get the first header on it and we launch counter. That never happened. It's just as well because on the counter, they're really quick. They're really good. So we managed all of that really well. I thought the second half, the first half, was as good as I've seen us for a while, especially Gakpo on Gertrude. He took him inside, outside, both ways. Gertrude didn't know what to do, and he couldn't. He couldn't go anywhere near him. He had to stand off him because of the booking. But the other thing I would say as well, McAllister was fouled. How the referee sees that as a booking is beyond me because he's on the blind side of it. He can't see it. He can't see it, let alone be able to see it to make a decision to book him. And when Gertrude got booked, in fairness, I thought it was just a tackle. I didn't think it's like not every foul is a yellow card. I didn't think it was a yellow card. So I think for the first 20, for the first half an hour, 40 minutes, really, that referee seemed so card happy that I'm glad he reined it in the second half because it wasn't that kind of game. It just wasn't. It was a good game of football. It wasn't a dirty game at all. But yeah, I thought the first half, we saw that out really well. Delighted with it.
Yeah, it's we can feel a little bit unlucky with the way that things shook down from the referee, just whether the occasion got to him or whatever. But if you're feeling lucky, I would direct you towards footballprizes.co.uk, where the contest is currently ongoing.
Oh, wow, I'm not used to these. I'm not used to these.
Yeah, it took you completely by surprise.
He's really upped his game recently.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's on it. I'll tell you, he is on it.
I'm a full amateur professional. You'll never forget it. But
I'm trying to think of the word. What's the word we use when you go from one thing into another? Can't remember the name, but go on anyway.
Segue.
I've ruined it on you.
Segue.
Oh my God, king of the segues. Go on.
That was not a good segue example you just gave right there. That was a pretty poor one. But yes, footballprizes.co.uk. They're selling 999 total tickets, £2.99 a piece. The grand prize is 2 hospitality tickets to Real Madrid at Anfield in the Champions League, which is going to be a big game. Cannot wait to see that, especially after how they looked in the second half yesterday, Real Madrid. But go to footballprizes.co.uk. A bunch of instant win prizes over there as well, too. Or just give your money to our 2 charities, which I'll mention again. Fan Supporting Food Banks, the Lighthouse Cafe in Dublin. Ashley, I would like to stick with Kelleher before we talk generally about the second half, because Liam here with a good stat, 6 saves tonight, 0.76 XG prevented. That one's for you, Gav. 7 recoveries. And then you had a lovely quote in here from Arne Slot, which he says, "We're happy that we have 2 excellent goalkeepers, Allison being out this season, and last makes it even more important that you have a player like that." And I saw somebody else in there in response to that said, "This Georgian kid must be unbelievable," because Kelleher was important in the second half. He made a pretty good save in the first half, a long shot from Haidara where he gets down to his left and he saves it. A couple other routine ones, good at coming out from crosses. But they have a little spell at 71, 72 minutes where he makes a couple of saves, and Sam Tandy says his best save was the looping deflection and the offside one near the end, which wouldn't have been offside if the initial shot went in. He's got to be the second best, like the best number 2 goalkeeper in the league. Somebody else, I think it was you, that said he'd start for 80% of Premier League teams. And after the hype of Vicario wore off quickly last season, he would start for Spurs, I think. Like, he is an excellent goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd easily, like, outside of Man City, maybe Villa, like, who else wouldn't you choose to replace him with? I mean, I don't personally want him to go to Chelsea, but I think he'd be a big upgrade for Chelsea. I think he'd be a big upgrade for Man United. I think he'd be an upgrade for Spurs. I mean, that's maybe
you could say he'd be an upgrade on David Raya.
Possibly, quite possibly. I mean, I feel like maybe there's rose-tinted glasses there, but there's easily some top 6 teams that I think that he would slide right into and be an improvement. And I'm just so glad that the club had the foresight to keep him around. Because if we had, I mean, I don't have a sample size on Jaros. I mean, he's looked good so far, but if we had to have him step in for this chunk of time and play, I don't know, maybe Real Madrid, like I'd be nervous as hell. I don't know about you. But with Kelleher, I mean, I said it before, when he initially comes in, I do get a little bit nervous, and then he plays a few games and I'm like, wow, like, holy shit, where's this guy been? And I forgot how good he was. And I'm getting those vibes again. And I'm like, he's fantastic. I think 71 minutes, the Sesko shot was the one he saved. Then he saved a Simons shot. I mean, the Simons shot, I think, was deflected. And that was the one that he really got that finger to. And I mean, I'm going to go early and say he was my man of the match.
Ooh. Oh, I like it. I like it. Because that
Well,
gives the
Robert
fellas
Bear's
and myself
absolutely
something to
fuming.
think about. It's hard to disagree, because especially in a 1-0 game, it'd be different if we walked out 4-0 winners and he had made 2 crucial interventions. But the early solidity that he provides at the back, and this isn't even talking about his ball playing ability, which I'm sure his touch map would be, wonderful, like his passing network and whatnot like that. A lot of ball went through him, but he's there to make the saves you need him to make. And then, like, yeah, I completely agreed with, I think it was Sam Tanny that said that, like, Gav, that it's a bit camera, the save he makes, jumping backwards with the fist to tip the ball out. But if he doesn't make it, we're having conversations of would Allison save that? But we don't have to worry about it. We can let Allison get better in his own time. We don't need to rush back our number one goalkeeper. And then hopefully we've got Allison to ride us into a triumphant spring.
Yeah, look, Kelleher keeps the ball out of the net. That's what he's there for. And I don't care if it's for camera or not camera. And you have to remember, a lot of the saves Allison makes could be considered camera saves, but they're just not, because it's Allison. And he's literally, I think he's 1.5 steps ahead of every goalkeeper in the world. Because he's that quick with his feet. He's that good with them. It's funny, Thor says there on screen, if Kelleher were English, he wouldn't go under the radar that much. If Kelleher's English, he's in goal for England.
100%.
Without a shadow of a doubt. He's a better goalkeeper than Jordan Pickford. I think Pope is a really, really good goalkeeper, but like his feet are only there for standing on, not for kicking the ball. And I think Kelleher has everything. He's a really good shot stopper. He commands his box. He's left or right. He's down saving things. He's really good with his feet. He's confident. He's calm. Like I don't even look twice when he's on the team sheet. I genuinely don't. I don't look and go, oh, Kelleher's in goal. I don't, honestly. I think if you put him in goal for Arsenal, you wouldn't feel any different to David Raya. And that's me giving a bit of credit to David Raya after a really shaky start to Arsenal, with the whole Ramsdale stuff. I genuinely don't think there'd be any difference. So that's, I think you could possibly put him into Arsenal side, but I've no problem if you want to say David Raya. But he's definitely better than the Spurs fella. He's 100% better than the United fella. He's better than the Chelsea fella. I think Ashley's right. I think Ederson, Allison, Martinez, and possibly Raya. And I think after that, I don't think there's a better goalkeeper in the league than. And that's how highly I rate him. And when people are saying, what's he worth? What's he this? What's he that? Honestly, he's worth a lot of money. It's just that the market for goalkeepers, I don't think, is there unless you're selling to someone in England. He's made some good saves tonight. The biggest compliment I give him is he's on the team sheet and I don't worry about it. And people are saying this Jordan fella must be brilliant. He must be. He must be, because there's not room for 3 of them. And you will presume Allison's going to stay for another season. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I'm not too sure, right? But honestly, Kelleher has to go somewhere. I'd be very surprised if Kelleher leaves Liverpool Football Club and isn't playing Champions League football. I think that's his value. That's where he is, and that's where he should be. And I'm not talking about a team that, a bit like a Villa now, that have made the Champions League, and will they do it again? I'm talking about a team that's in the Champions League all the time, because that's how highly I rate him. And I'm at the stage that if I lost Allison, I'm not saying Kelleher's as good as Allison, but if we lost Allison and we said he's not playing for the rest of the season, or he's going to leave the football club in May, if you told me Caoimhin Kelleher was going to be Liverpool's goalkeeper, I'd have no problem whatsoever with it. And I don't see why anybody should. He's never let Liverpool down. He's never let them down. He's made some big saves. He's won trophies with them. He's so good. And I think the reason he probably hasn't left Liverpool is because they value him so highly and people don't want to pay it. But if I'm a team that's 5th, 6th, 7th all the time in the league, I want to push on and get into a Champions League, and I want a really, really top goalkeeper, I'm signing Caoimhin Kelleher. Yeah, it's a signing under the radar in terms of who's rated around the world, but I think he's just he's a massive asset to anyone that has him, and luckily we have him.
Yeah, it's everything about it. I had to share this comment from Madge Apple. She says Martinez is good, but he's an irritating gobshite, and Kelleher is understated. And I'm not sure which one of you that has control of the Talkin Kop account to put the comment in of like, look at Madge Apple, the resident English teacher with the proper accent over the vowel and everything like that. But
that wasn't me.
That was me.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's I did not know that was called a fada, but that is I noticed
most people forget it when I see Caoimhin written or typed. So yeah, no, it was nice to see it.
Well, fair play to Madge Apple, because whenever you try do that, the little fodder or accent or whatever you want to call it, over the fodder being the Irish word for being over the thing, you're kind of like, right, Control Alt hold fucking F6.
It'll give you arthritis.
And like you literally look like you don't know what you're up to.
It's easier on the phone where you just hold the letter down and all the accent,
all the bits.
Yeah. But
my favorite is the 2 circles above a letter.
Exactly. So I'm very happy to see, though, there's a ton of comments in here about people just raving about Kelleher, and he does deserve a lot of credit. Sam Tandy, though, Klopp also deserves a lot of credit in how he treated Kelleher, giving him the cup finals, etc. All that has helped him massively, and also kept him at the club. Like, that's that understated bit that Madge was talking about. Understated is a good word, though, Kev, because it's a description of our second half of the game. Controlling, dominating would be 2 other ones that were used. And I know you're giving me that, but just we'll get onto the flurry, the final 10, 15 minutes of the match. From 45 up until about 85, they didn't really, I mean, the tiny flurry there that we talked about, her making the 2 saves. Other than that, we really controlled the game. And I
thought Edmonton flowed second half. It was so both sides we were cautious. We didn't come into it. They changed as well tactically. They went. You notice in the first half they were pressing with 4.
Yeah.
In the second half they changed it to a front 3 and they dropped an extra man into midfield. Made it a little bit more difficult to find Gravenberch at times. So we had to play around the back a bit more to get the ball into Gravenberch. So it was kind of more of a tactical battle in the second half. I mean, the second half, they had 8 shots, 3 on target. We had 10 with 4 on target. It was, but it was just one of them. 1-0 is a horrible scoreline. I just kept having visions that penalty shout is going to cost us, because they're good enough to create a good chance. And they created 2 good chances. So it's like, you're away in Europe, you're going to have to ride your luck at times. And we did a bit, it was, we could have brought problems onto ourselves with some of the passing, some of the decision making. But ultimately, the second half, I wouldn't say it petered out, but I thought we were managing time a lot.
Yes.
We held the ball, and it wasn't a case of like we have to go and score. We were managing our way up the pitch slowly, and more important was keep the ball and just keep it simple, and that was fine, But one mistake, and they're in. So you're living at 1-0. You're living on a knife edge. We really did need that. I felt we needed that second goal, but in all fairness, he made the changes I'd say that he wanted to make. Didn't he? He could have made one more. He made 4 changes in total.
Yeah, we made 4 out of 5. They made all 5.
Yeah, I think ideally, if we'd have got the second goal, he'd have made the other change and maybe brought Endo on for McAllister. But as it stood, it's like the players that came in did well, I thought, in the main. But it was just about getting the job done the second half. And the longer it went on, it became more and more about that. Get the job done, get the result. Because that's 9 from 9 there. There's only 2 sides in this whole competition that are unbeaten, us and Villa. And they can come out with, people can come out with excuse, oh, look, you've played nobody, doesn't it? played AC Milan, played Bologna, and played Leipzig away. They're 3 tough games, and I don't care what anyone says. They're games that you have to go and earn your wins against, and we've done that. Yeah. And the best thing is we've done it and no injuries, and we've managed to rest a couple as well. So it was the best of all worlds, really, for tonight.
Yeah, it ends up. I mean, you can always say it. Obviously, hindsight being 2020 and whatnot, and all the cliches. But when you come away with the 1-0 victory, you can be happy about how that second half went, and that's the mindset that I subscribe to. Ashley, Kev said keep it simple, and Kieran B reminds him that in the 69th minute, we did not keep it simple when you just will some balls to go in the net. And the couple of touches that McAllister and Szoboszlai play to each other around the edge of their box is outrageous football. And it's like, just go in, just bar down in, just be a goal. It's one of those times in football where, because like Kev said, it was kind of arm's length, controlling them, managing time and all those things. But then there was a few moments, even late in the game, where we got close to the box, and it was maybe what Gab was saying, where that old Klopp style comes back in, where it's like, fuck it, just go for it. To hell with keeping the ball and managing time. Like, let's go get another goal right here. That was one of those ones for me where it was like, because I thought McAllister and Szoboszlai both had pretty good games.
Yeah. I mean, you know how sometimes I feel like it's in the big games that they have the camera that's on the pulley system? I feel like that was one of those plays where you needed the sky cam right above that to kind of even know what was going on, because it was so intricate and it was so precise. And I think it hit the bar. Did it hit the bar? I think so.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
It was so nearly. I mean, it goes on to that list of, there's an endless list of like nearly perfect Liverpool goals that didn't go in, but that's one of them. It probably won't be remembered, but it is one of them. And I think, they did have good games. I think that the 3 of them just complement each other really well. I don't know if any one of the 3 had like an absolute standout game, but they just sort of like, where one is lacking, the other picks up, and that's where their strength is, and vice versa. And, like even Szoboszlai, who I think has been getting a lot of unnecessary like critique on social medias, and I don't really know why, but I've seen a lot of people going hard on Szoboszlai recently. And I thought he had a good game. I thought him and Konate going back to their old club, both of them looked like they had a good game. I don't know. Can you guys illuminate a little bit as to why he's getting so much shit on social media? Because
I can, because this came to me in the chat before the game, Gab, and I'll come to you on this. Somebody was talking about the stick that Szoboszlai is getting in. He's doing the dirty work and the stuff you don't really care about and stuff like that. And it gives me such a stench of the criticism that Jordan Henderson got. And if Dominic Szoboszlai can be a Jordan Henderson regen for Liverpool, I will take that every single day, because I think he's a more naturally talented footballer as well too. But if he's going to be doing, because it is hard to see it, like you've been there to see him live and see how he presses the ball and functions in that attacking team, which is something that is almost impossible to pick up when you're watching it on TV. But I get the feeling that he's clearly doing something right, because how does Curtis Jones not get a shout in that number 10 berth? How does Alexis McAllister not get a shout up there? Like, am I off on that Henderson thing? No. Like Henderson with smaller feet and better hair?
No, Henderson plays in the midfield where he's deeper than Szoboszlai for the majority of the game. When we have the ball, But the funny thing is, he's down as this 10 for Liverpool, right? And he's the most. Honestly, he's the most. How do I even put this? If you start Liverpool's midfield, right, and you have Gravenberch, you have McAllister, and you have Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai is actually the one that is the third point in the triangle that plays around with the ball, like with a Salah or a Trent. And I have seen this live in front of me and I watched that, man. This is madness. And it's actually McAllister that gets in the box more, right? Because he's actually a lot of people use this word, the conduit between a lot of what we do. So if you watch Liverpool when they're playing, Dominic Szoboszlai will run past Darwin Núñez to press. And he'll say to Núñez, you go and stand on that number 6 over there. I'm going to press this guy. And Diaz and Salah are going to push up and help. And you're going to stay behind me. It must be because of the distance he can run, the physicality. I don't know what it is, but it is something they do. But when they're attacking then, look at the goal the other night. Look at the goal against Chelsea. Dominic Szoboszlai gets the ball in what you would consider a 10 position. He slides it outside to Salah.
And it
right? And no, he slides out the side to Salah. Salah takes a touch inside, and Szoboszlai makes this run down inside right. When you think a 10 will head for the middle of the box. And who's coming around the back of the forward? It's Curtis Jones, who's in the McAllister role in the team. So when people think he's a 10, he starts in that position. But what he actually does in that position is so far away from what a number 10 does. It's mad.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to take into context. When you go and watch him live, the amount of running he does, chasing, how physical he is, he wins the ball back so much, and he just gives these little passes to get people going. He's literally like, it's like they've taken a defensive midfielder and stuck him 25 yards from goal and said, listen, when you get it, he has all the attributes to shoot and score. There's no doubt about it. And that might come. But honestly, when you watch him playing, he's the one that drops out and says, right, I'll get Trent and Mo going here and I'll get one of them in behind, or I'll get him behind myself. But he's not down the middle of the pitch 10. He's not the guy playing off Nunes, looking to score and assist. He's not Gerrard off Torres. That's the best way I can put it. He's simply not that. He's the man that's making everything link together, but he's linking it further up the pitch. You know, it's a weird thing to watch, but I know exactly where it's at. And that's why I'm not too pushed on him, the amount of goals and assists he has, because he's actually doing an awful lot of stuff to help with people getting goals and assists. So I'm not worried over him at all. He's had a really good start to the season. The only slight I'll throw him is there is times where you go, just shoot. Mate, just shoot. Because in 5 minutes' time, you're going to get the ball in the exact same position. And if you've shot 5 minutes ago and you've scored, sure, shoot again. If you haven't scored, give it wide. There's no problem. There is times where he should shoot, but I think it's getting bashed into him so much that he has to be, I have to slide this ball here, I have to slide that ball there. That sometimes if he gets to shoot, but honestly, he's an excellent footballer. Absolutely excellent. And we can't have 11 creative monsters in the team that just want to be there to create. We have fullbacks that do it. We've Gravenberch in the 6 that does it. We've McAllister that does it. We've Nunes. We've Jota. We've Diaz.
We need a Henderson, is what you're saying.
Well, I think he's a better player than Henderson. I think he's more attributes than Henderson. But I wouldn't trust Henderson to be in that position where he is. But I probably wouldn't trust Szoboszlai to go back and play the Henderson thing. Do you get me?
You trust the 13-14 Henderson there, though, wouldn't you? Because
13-14 Henderson was a runner. He was an absolute runner. Yeah, absolutely.
But he still caught shit just about every other week when he was contributing. Because he was just...
But what I'm saying is I wouldn't trust Henderson to go in and do Szoboszlai's job now, because I don't think he picks the right passes at times. But I wouldn't trust Szoboszlai to go back and play Henderson's 8, you know, of 19-20 or 18-19. That's just the way. They're just different players. Yeah. They're just different players. And he's still learning. I keep going back to it. He's 13 games in, lads. Do you know what I mean? If you go to work for 13 days, you don't know everything about your job. You really don't. You know,
and the other thing about him is people will watch him playing for Hungary, and he'll play as an inside forward in a front three, and you'll watch him then come back to Liverpool, and he's doing. It's almost like the water carrier role, where he'll do the work, but you know that he's got the quality in between his ears to do a hell of a lot more than that as well. People look at a number 10 position, they immediately think, well, that's David Silva. You know, that's Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva, that kind of... In fairness, I think Bernardo Silva is probably the one player you could look at and say, that's who he could end up modeling his game on. Someone who can do a job on the wing if you need him to. But you put him in the middle of the park, you won't notice him, but the players notice the work that he does. And then all of a sudden he'll pop up with a pass, or he'll pop up with a cross, or an intricate play, or that ball roll like tonight from McAllister. He's got that in his locker as well as the other stuff. Gini Wijnaldum to me is the one player that is similar. Gini could do everything. You know, he could do that forward, getting into the box. He could do the ugly side of it as well. And if he turns out to be anything like the Gini Wijnaldum that we had, I'll be delighted with it. But and again, he's learning the role.
Yeah, but you know what we see here? We see like Szoboszlai being in that position. We've seen the vast majority of McAllister being in a certain position, and Gravenberch are never present in the third part. But if they rest a McAllister, right, and they decide to put Szoboszlai back in to McAllister's role, and they put in, say, an Elliott, right? Or a Jones. I think they'll actually stick Jones where McAllister is. But if it came to the point where Szoboszlai had to move back into that McAllister role and somebody had to go into the Szoboszlai role and say it was an Elliott for argument's sake, I think you'll see Szoboszlai in the box an awful lot more. I think and then you could say he's not taking the chance he gets. Because just the next time you're watching Liverpool, right? Watch the amount of times that Szoboszlai is used to manipulate situations and overload on both sides of the pitch, and then watch where McAllister is. Watch the goal against Bologna.
In fairness,
they play, and they put it in the box, and there's McAllister breaking into the box. He's meant to be the second deepest player in midfield.
That literally addresses Jono's point there when he's saying that Slot has said he wants Szoboszlai to score more goals. Well, if that were true, Szoboszlai would be the one making the runs to get into the box, and McAllister would be the one outside doing the overloads on the wings. He's not. I mean, trust your eyes. If it was a case that Slot wanted him to be more involved in the box, he would be the one arriving into the box an awful lot more than what he is. He just isn't.
I think when Slot makes that comment, he does make that comment about Szoboszlai. He wants him to get more goals and he wants him to get more assists. Part of that is saying to Szoboszlai, you've had the chances, and he did have a couple of chances to shoot. And part of it for me is I'm saying, eventually this is what I want to get out of this player. But right now, it's still a work in motion. It's still something that they're building. And I don't doubt that, when they get this right and they get it to where they wanted to get it to, they will want Dominic Szoboszlai being a bit more progressive. They will want them breaking into the box a bit more. But right now, to start everybody off, I think he becomes the extra man outside the box to keep that ball and rotate the ball and recycle the ball. I think that's what his role is at the moment. And part of it is sometimes just fucking shoot. You know what I mean? It's okay. You don't have to keep it all the time. I think the big thing on Slot is that if the ball goes in the box and it comes back out, don't be just lashing it back in. Let's recycle and see where we can go. But overall, like we're sitting here, we're nitpicking over a player that I think has worked so fucking hard for the team, and probably he's definitely put the team before his own outlook on the way he wants to play football. And we're 12 wins from 13, I think, at the start of the season. So, if we get to Sunday and he's 2 or 3 chances from the outside of the box to shoot and hit one, and he doesn't hit one, then you can kind of go, what's he not doing? Why is he not shooting? But he's doing so much right for me.
Yeah. I love how into the Arsenal game you are already. You keep already giving us that win against Arsenal. We've won 11 out of 12, but you're saying 12 out of 13. Come back.
Are you sure it's not? Is it 12 games we've played, is it?
Yeah, 3 in the Champions League, 1 in the Cup.
I thought it was 14. 11 out of 12.
Yeah, Ashley's got the stats. I don't argue with as the chat.
I'm not arguing with horse stats either, to be honest.
Slot's the first to win as many as
the League Cup as well.
First 12 games in charge in all competitions in English top flight history. But the other conversation that was going on there in the chat while Szoboszlai was being talked about, Ashley, is, in terms of injuries, you're always worried about losing people, but we will have somebody coming back whose name is going to be thrust into this Dominic Szoboszlai position conversation in Harvey Elliott. And that's an exciting proposition, isn't it? You kind of forget about Harvey Elliott. It's been out for a little while.
Yeah. I mean, he was great in preseason. I think he's going to be great for us again. I think he's going to be a great option. We're talking about Szoboszlai being this engine, being this kind of facilitator, I think, which maybe isn't as glamorous as some of the other roles in our midfield. It might be a little bit harder for the average viewer to see exactly what he's contributing. It's hard for me to see what he's contributing sometimes because I think a lot of times he's letting other players shine because he's doing that donkey work. I think Elliott can do that, but I think Elliott might be a good option for when we need that more kind of intricate on the box passing or that kind of penetrative thing. I mean, that was Elliott's big, stats thing last year was he was a great, last ball kind of penetrating action guy. I forget what the terminology is. I'm just going to go with that.
Ghost assist, is it? Is that what you're looking for? Something along them lines.
He's
the ball before the ball.
Terminology is, we'll go with that. But yeah, I think if we can have both, and if Slot has that kind of as an option to look at his opponent and be like, well, this is what I want for my 10, or this is what I want for my other 10. I don't even know if he's a true 10. I mean, are we calling him a true 10? Is that what we're doing?
No.
I don't think
he's more like an 8.5.
I think so. But yeah, getting him back, the more rotation in that midfield, the better. I'm surprised that Endo didn't come on at all today. I think, we did well with what we had, but I think we're going to have to be careful managing their minutes as they go. And that goes with everyone. I'm surprised there was not quite as much rotation today. I think that we saw a lot of like pre-planned substitutions as the game went on, but we're getting to the point in the season with a lot of these games coming up that, the more the merrier, in terms of players on the bench, because there's a few too many injuries for injuries for a backroom staff that was supposed to be preventing injuries. I'm starting to feel like, I don't know, they're popping up again. And I don't think there's any way that you can prevent them from happening. I think that that's just the nature of the beast. And I think a lot of times international breaks bring those on. But it is something that's like starting to kind of go off in the back of my mind.
I mean, we don't have that many injuries. Arsenal, they talked about it on Sky Sports. They had to put a second screen in to show all of Arsenal's.
There's another segue of the day.
Just this incredible number of injuries there. Before I come to the two fellows to ask them who their man of the match was, because you went early with Kelleher, Ashley, you got any big thoughts or feelings about how Liverpool managed the 1-0 lead in the second half?
It felt a little bit reminiscent of the title-winning season, where I think there were games where we were not that exciting, but we did just grind out wins, and this felt very much like that, where we weren't taking any high-risk passes. There were a few times actually toward the end of the game where there were shots being taken on at like the 93rd or 94th minute, where I'm like, just go to the corner. Just please continue to go.
That was Andy Robertson at exactly 94 minutes and 40 seconds. Where it's like, why are you fucking shooting? Why?
Him and Diaz, to be fair, both of them got a little bit of blame in my mind. But I think it's great to see. I think that this is what we were calling for all of last season. All we wanted was just hold on to a 1-goal lead and don't go behind and, keep control of the game. And I think like there have been very clear tactical switches in what Slot's trying to do, but I guess kind of big picture, it's great to see that we can take a team that was nearly there, make some tweaks, and all of a sudden we're seeing all these things that we wanted to see. And I don't know, it's just very refreshing for me to like go from a whole season where you're longing for that control and then finally seeing it implemented on the pitch.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Gav, I want to know who's the man of the match from you, but Ashley gave a very good segue for me there. One of the Seveners pointed it out on WhatsApp that I think we've got a really good manager. Like, I think this fucking Arne Slot guy that we've got, I think he's clever as shit.
Yeah, I think I said on Sunday night show, I think the way we won the game on Sunday was really impressive. It was a different way of winning a football game. It was different for me to a lot of the games we've played this season. A lot of the games we played this season, we've controlled a lot of the ball. When we felt under threat, we've taken any sort of encouragement away or any sort of momentum away from teams. And Sunday was a bit different, where we went, yeah, you're a threat, but what we'll do is we'll still be a massive threat to you by controlling the game without having the ball. It might be the first game this season where we don't have as much of the ball as the other team. I think that I might be right in that, but it felt that way on Sunday. Tonight's one, every time I watch Liverpool, I just keep thinking how far we are into this process. But again, he comes out there. They weather the 20. They take control. They should be 2-0 up at halftime. If they're 2-0 up at halftime, there's no problem. Yeah. Second half, he makes the changes looking forward to the game at the weekend. And I'm absolutely fine with that. And I think, people are banging on about the offside goals and stuff, but Liverpool have done that for years. Like, years Liverpool have done that for. Like, it's not a thing where we're doing the last 8 months or 16, 15, 16, 18 months. We're literally doing it years, where we keep that line bang on straight. And if you're a toe over it, you're getting caught. I think the main thing for me tonight was, in managing the game, was our own sloppiness. If you look at where the chances come from, it's us giving the ball away or making silly decisions on the ball that leads to 20 seconds later they're having a chance. So that can absolutely improve. There's no doubt about it. But we've managed the game. Man of the match is a difficult one. I do think man of the match is a difficult one. I really like Curtis Jones when he come on, but I don't think I'd give it to him for 25 minutes. Do you know what? I don't know if he's man of the match, but I really like Simicast's performance tonight. I think bar the first minute, I thought he was sound. He won his battles when he needed to. He passed it well. His corners are a real threat. I really liked him tonight. So I don't know. Is he man of the match? Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, Simicast is man of the match for me.
I'll take it. He provided a lot of extra overlap and underlap help to Gakpo when
he got the official man of the match award, did he?
Really?
I just read your comment there from Ashley. He did. Yeah, you see, I know me. I know this game.
Gav knows ball. Who did you like for man of the match?
I agree with Ashley 100%. Kelleher was the best player on the pitch. In fairness, I think the two goalkeepers were the two best players on the pitch.
Yeah.
Galashi made some unbelievable saves tonight.
He did, in fairness.
But Kelleher's saves were better. And that one save with the looping ball that you see so many times make keepers look stupid if their footwork isn't 100% right.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant. If I was giving an honourable mention, it would be Cody Gakpo. Definitely looks so much more comfortable on the left wing because when he went through the middle, Slot changed him back out into the wing really quickly and put Diaz through the middle at the end. But I thought Cody Gakpo was very good. Justified his selection, done a real job, a real number on Gertruda. But yeah, those two for me.
Yeah. I'm going to go with North Will Rise again and Stig Blom Anderson that both said Konate. I thought Konate was quite solid tonight. Somebody else here said, who said he had a couple of sloppy passes? Somebody in here said he had a couple of sloppy passes. Kieran. Kieran said he had a couple of sloppy passes, but I just felt like he also, Gab mentioned Van Dijk having a good clearing header. Konate had another couple of those, and he is quietly, if it wasn't for Mo Salah doing Mo Salah things, Luis Diaz coming back from the Copa America absolutely on fire, Ryan Gravenberch being a completely renewed player under Arne Slot, I would say Ibu Konate has been our player of the season so far for the first 12 games, and that's including him pretty much just throwing the ball into our net against West Ham as well.
Wolves? Are you talking about the Wolves one?
Yeah, games we won. Wolves, West Ham, it doesn't matter. They're all...
Is it the one where he doesn't clear the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've said West Ham twice now, and I've said Wolves twice, and you've ignored me twice. And I'm like, please put on the record it was Wolves.
You're not even supposed to be
arbitrate here.
Yeah, I'm not meant to be here.
For West Ham. See, I knew a defender fucked up for West Ham. I just didn't flip back through my notebooks. It was Kwanzaa got an own goal off of Endo and whatnot.
You need to digitize them notes.
Yes, I'm not. There's no computer in the world that can read my handwriting. I'll tell you that right now. But it's just, I was surprised to see him start. I thought Kwanzaa would get the nod over one of Van Dijk or Konate, and it almost certainly would have been Konate. So I was surprised to see him start, but he's a physical beast.
That really made me laugh.
The one thing I want to say about
into the void, you were being accused of being asleep about 20 minutes ago. So.
Yeah, I know, because I have this thing where I look down at my phone, I look like I'm just not paying any attention, and I have a massive sinus problem here at the minute. Sorry, go on.
That's cool.
I was going to say,
everyone is sick.
Yeah.
On Konate, the fact that now he looks like he's going to be France's mainstay centre back, the confidence he's going to get from that, and the fact that he's had the armband for France as well. It's going to speak volumes for him going forward.
Ken, you talk about confidence. He went into a France training session wearing some sort of zipped up leather bag over his face. If you don't have confidence, you are never getting out of that car wearing that outfit.
No. In fairness, who's going to tell him not to? He's
6'5".
Ashley says this is a good name for a podcast. Old man shouts at wolves. That's if there's any Wolves fan podcasts that need a new name, that is an absolute banger for you. But now we've gone through it, we've digested it, we've come away from East Germany with a 1-0 victory. We head flying down to London whenever that is. And Ashley, it's time to focus on the big one. All the talk of haven't played anybody yet is slowly dissipating, but all of that is completely gone come this weekend. I cannot wait. I'm sure Gav has got some sort of preview shows lined up, but I'll be there for the post-match show. I'm sure you will as well too. Liverpool going to the Emirates.
It's going to be great, guys. I mean, we talked about building up a head of steam, building up some momentum for this run of games that we're on. Like, these are two big steps that we've taken on this journey. I mean, this was our pot 1 away seed. So this was theoretically our hardest game. I mean, I think that we would all argue that it's going to be the Real Madrid game, but on paper, this was meant to be our hardest game. So getting that out of the way, getting Chelsea out of the way, proving to all of the people on the internet and in the media that, you know, we haven't played anyone yet. I don't know how many games we have to actually play a good
All
team.
of them.
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
63.
You know, but let's hope that Arsenal's another one that we can chalk off this weekend. I mean, they have already started with all of the media. It is a full-fledged Arsenal injury crisis attack. I put something in our Telegram today. I don't remember ever seeing graphics going out about like our injury crisis over the last couple of years. We were missing like a whole starting 11 prior to that cup game versus Chelsea, and I don't remember seeing graphics pasted. And Sky Sports had every single Arsenal defender, including Tomiyasu and Tierney, who I don't think have played at all this year.
I thought Tierney was out on loan again.
To Saliba, as if it was part of this massive like injury army that they had. And I don't know. I mean, whatever. They're obviously going to do what they're going to do. They're London's media darlings. But I would just love to be able to go and silence all those critics.
It's a 2-horse race, but like we're coming around the outside bend on one of Brian O'Sullivan's dairy cattle or something like that to pip him at the.
He was showering them today.
I know they're all dried up. Think how much lighter they are. They're not producing milk anymore, so they're just
like towels the size of like fucking sofas, just rubbing down cows all day. It's really weird.
The little dear McGlinchey says, whatever happens, Arsenal are going to blame the ref for being a Liverpool fan or being biased against them. But I knew, Gav, if we talked about it for just a little bit, somebody would agree with me. Sam Tandy says, I got a weird feeling we could hammer them on Sunday.
Listen, when it comes down to Sunday, you know, I actually hit the nail on the head there. Like, and I don't watch Sky Sports News because I just think it's appalling. The stories they put up, and more importantly, the people they have on there is just place. You know what I mean? I'd be better off going and talking to a wall over there, and I get more sense out of it and more entertainment. Look, Arsenal are throwing out this thing, and it is Arsenal throwing out this thing that they've massive injuries. And I kind of went, yeah, but like we probably have Alisson and Jota over first team. They probably have Saka, Odegaard, and Saliba. That's probably out of actual first 11. And people will make, you know, arguments around this player and that player. Listen, at the end of the day, Arteta, if he has them all fit, he picks the same 11. And Saliba's in it, Saka's in it, and Odegaard is in it. Don't think Odegaard will make it. I think Saka will. I think he will throw Saka in there because I get a feeling, and I keep saying it, they're so emotional. They are so fucking emotional over everything. Like, honestly, 72 hours after William Saliba is sent off, Sky Sports are doing sprint stats on Evan Nilsson and William Saliba. They're doing fucking sprint stats. And I made a joke of this on a show. It was either on a show or a WhatsApp group, and I went, lads, they'll have the sprint stats up next. And swear to God, the next day it was up on the screen. I was like, are you listening to me? Is this all my fucking fault? What's going on? But this is what the carry on is. Calafiori is out now as well, by the looks of it. Urian Timbers is out. But this is what happens when you have lots of games. And listen, Saliba's their own fault. But this is what happens when you have players playing loads of games over and over and over again, right? That's the truth. Players get injured. We have injuries. They have injuries. It's going to be such a fucking hard game, though. Like, people think our Arsenal have all these players out. It's not going to be hard. It is. They still have players that can hurt you. I like Saka. I really like Martinelli. I'm not the biggest fan of Jesus, but he can pop up with a goal. Rice has been excellent for them. Partey's doing a job. Trossard's a real handful of times as well. It's going to be so hard, but Liverpool need to put all this shit aside and go in there and go, listen, we're going in here. We're on a really fucking good run. Why can't we go and win? And if we win, amazing. If we draw, fair enough. Even if we lose the game, right, they're back within a point of us. If we win, we go 7 points clear them. But honestly, if Liverpool went, I'd love it so much just to go there and put 2 or 3 by this and literally walk away. I'm no big fuss. We've beaten you. Good luck.
Yeah.
We're on to the next, because I am fucking sick and tired of them. I'm sick and tired of that manager, and their fan base is fucking mental. Absolutely and utterly mental. It's so hard to find one of them that you can actually speak to and go, what do you think of that? Yeah, it probably was a red, actually. It's off the wall stuff. And it's a massive, massive game. But we're doing all right. Slot will have a plan, and it's up to the players to go and carry out that plan. I just can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. And people have looked at these 10 games and oh, look at these 10 games. Embrace it. You might win all 10. You might win 5 and lose 5. You might lose 7 of them. But just embrace it. This is a team in transition. It's a really good team in transition. It's trying new things. It's doing them quite well. And we're not at our peak. There's so much more to come from this side. So much more to come from this side in the way they're playing. You know what I mean? They've reached so many peaks with Jurgen Klopp. This different way of playing, I don't think they're anywhere near how good he can be. And Sunday won't win or lose a league, but just give me 3 points and just fucking don't have to listen to them pricks for another week. And actually, do you know what? 3-0, but I want a massive controversy in it if possible. Yeah, just something that they can just chew on. My only problem here is that there's not an international break after this game. A 3-0 win with a massive controversy and Arsenal going absolutely bananas for 10 to 14 days would be absolutely fantastic.
I mean,
odds are pretty good.
Diaz's goal being reversed. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just
chalked off for offside or something like that. I don't know how many more times this can happen. I'm going to give comment of the night to Scouser Pete that says the way Brian O'Sullivan looks after his herd, you'd swear he was producing Wagyu milk, which, by the way, is the only milk that Keith Plunkett drinks when he's on a Sunday night show. He only drinks #1 grade A Wagyu milk.
Okay.
Absolutely fantastic.
Him and his cows are a bit weird.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they're all dry now, so that's good because it is rainy in Ireland. It's a tough job being
yeah.
If you know, you know. Kev, any final words before we get out of here?
The only thing I say is the more risks that Mikel Arteta has to take with his starting lineup this early in the season, the better for us in the long run. If he has to take risks over Saka, Odegaard, whoever else is borderline, good, because he will. He will throw them to the wolves and let them fall where they may, because that's what he's done all the time. He's flogged that side to within an inch of its life to get to the end of the season last year. And he's shown that he's willing to do it again. He does not rotate. He will play these players as much as possible until they break. And I have no doubt in my mind that Saka will play at least an hour, if not more, on Sunday, because that's just the way he is. He will play these players come hell or high water.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll discuss it more. I think you're 100% correct, but I don't think you can blame him because, Ashley, is it wrong to just flog your players regardless of what injuries come out when you put up the trophy results that Mikel Arteta has put? Oh, shit. No, sorry. I was looking at the wrong manager's results there. It's just Arsenal, though. It's just we'll have a little laugh at Arsenal, and then we'll have a talk about the game afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, we've all been on Arteta for, years at this point for not rotating his squad, saying that this was going to happen. And that, when you go toe-to-toe with whether it's City or whether it's us, you have to be able to rotate. Otherwise, this happens. This happened to us. We tried to go toe-to-toe with City. We made some questionable decisions about throwing players in when they weren't ready, and we paid the price. And if Arsenal have to do that this early in the season, then good luck to them, because we all know how that story ends. So I hope that Arteta has no idea how to manage his squad. And like Gav said, I hope that he has to take risks, or I don't know if it was Kev or Gav, sorry. I hope that they have to take risks because it doesn't pay off in the long run. And it is very early in the season for them to be making those kind of decisions. I mean, this is October. This isn't like December where, the chips are down and you have to make a play. This is October. It's a big deal. It's a must win for them.
I think so. it's a must not lose for them. I think.
Must not lose. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
But if they're looking at City, they're probably going, fuck's sake, like if they win and we draw, they're what would they be 5 points off City? Yeah, they'd be 5 points off City, and that's 5 is a big number when you're chasing City. But my whole thing on them is right, and I've said it already. I think it'd be a massively hard game, and it can go either way. Even with the injuries for them and the injuries for us, and they played yesterday, we played today. We have to travel back from Germany, all that sort of stuff. My thing on this is that they feel like they're in panic mode, and everything's fucking mental. And we're 9 games. This would be the 9th league game of the season. Like if this was February, March, I'm kind of going, fuck, them players are out, and we have to play them, or what are we going to do? Let's just scrape something. This feels like, lads, there's fucking 7 more months of this. There's 7 more months of this. You know when you're running on emotion and you're running on adrenaline, you have to run and run. You have to run and run and run, and you hope you don't hit that wall before the last day of the season, right? But this isn't adrenaline. This is pure emotion, and it's not even a siege mentality because they've created a siege that's not there. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I think they're really good. I actually made them favourites for the league when Rodri got injured. I thought they are genuinely favourites for the league. But I'm watching them, and I've watched them the last couple of games, and it's like, there's never just a Arsenal 1-2-0 today. There's never that.
Never simple.
There's never Arsenal 1-2-0 and they're like 6th on match of the day.
Yeah.
If Arsenal won 4-2 and they had to be forced on it because they were 2-0 up. Leicester, look at Leicester. They go behind to Southampton. They lose to Bournemouth. You know what I mean? They scrape one last night. And it's just, everything seems to be, that has to take so much out of you when it's constantly.
It's kind of like Man City at the moment as well. Man City at the minute are having to work really, really hard to get their wins. I think tonight they probably had a soft one, but in the league lately, ever since Rodri's gone out injured, they're having to work so hard. They're dominating the ball and they're dominating games, but they're really having to work a lot harder than what they're used to get 3 points. And we've done that last year. Remember last year, the start of the season, we started the season with a bang, but we kept getting over the line in games. It's
not sustainable.
And it was, we were getting over the line.
The Emmett Kavanaugh strategy of conceding a goal on purpose in the first 10 minutes. And as it turns out.
Yeah, but Emmett's fucking weird, man.
No,
having to work that hard, it will catch you out because there will be games where it just won't work. You know, Man City and Arsenal can't keep going behind in games because eventually it won't work out the way they want to. And if we go there and get 3 points on Sunday, God willing, 7 points it would be the difference between us and them. 29 games gone.
And 6 from City.
Yeah, I'm worried. I mean, at the end of the day, they're all going to be chasing us.
They've already played City.
7 points is a lot to make up, even against us this early in the season. Because, they'd have to go, a lot will have to go their way, and we would have to drop 3 games.
I don't even think they're looking at Liverpool. I think they're looking at City.
Oh, I think they are as well. And I think that's a mistake.
I think they're looking at City.
I'm okay with that, though.
Yeah.
Me too.
I am as well.
Me too.
I have no problem with us.
I'm fully of the opinion, right, that if it's us and City going into the league title race, fair enough, right? If it's us and Arsenal going into it, but if genuinely if it was us and Arsenal, right, I want Liverpool to just have the crack. I want us to have a great time. Because while they're absolutely falling over themselves to fucking be emotional, we're over here going, we have to win again, load of cans, let's go, we're on the fucking next one. And I actually think that will work against an Arsenal side, against anybody. If another team looks cool and calm and doing their job, Arsenal just, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's Arsenal fans out there that tell me I'm wrong. But honestly,
we're just going to roll this right into an Arsenal preview show if we're not too careful here.
Everyone is looking for us. Do you remember when Leicester won the league? And it got to that stage in the season where everyone was waiting for Leicester to blow up. I think everyone is looking at us, waiting for us to blow up. They're looking at Slot. He's just in the door, and but he's getting results, but he's the new guy. And they're looking at the depth in the squad and the fact that look at the bench tonight and what have you. They're waiting for us to blow up, and it's not happening. And the more times that we're putting 3 points on the table and they're scrapping around for wins, that gap can open up and you can find yourself in a really strong position by the turn of the year if we keep doing what we're doing and they're playing catch up all the time. And eventually they'll look and say, How did they get that far ahead?
Well, Kev,
Well,
I'll tell you why. It's because they're running on emotion, and we're just ticking over like a slot machine. And with that, that has been the Talkin Kop full-time match reaction. We were in Leipzig. We came away with another victory in the Champions League.
Where's Leipzig? Where's Leipzig, man?
Leipzig is in East Germany, Gab.
I don't know why you keep saying it, but
It's
anyway.
in East Germany. We have different commentators. My commentator could not stop telling you that Leipzig was in East Germany. It was on the wrong side of the Berlin Wall.
He's clearly a massive fan of the Berlin Wall. I was going to say that. Okay. Cool.
A huge fan of the Berlin Wall. The wall has come down. The wall has been replaced by a young gentleman from Cork.
It was 1989, mate. Relax, will you?
I do have to say, just before we go, though, that lad Veerman off of their team has some of the worst hair that I have ever seen in my entire life. It looked like a chia pet, and it doesn't matter because Liverpool are 3 wins from 3 in the Champions League. We play Arsenal this Sunday. Keep your notifications on in case Gav decides to have an impromptu match preview show for the Arsenal game coming up, because you can tell he's got a lot of opinions about it. But we're allowed to go late when Gav joins us on a full-time match reaction show. Thank you for joining us. Please help us with our charities. Visit footballprizes.co.uk. See you after the Arsenal.